All right, Greg, I got an idea. Why don't we go live on IG, and then I come in here like you guys are doing your podcast, and then I come in here, and then I punch you.
The first year, I feel like I talk to a lot of newbies, right? New guys that start, and they're like, am I buying a Maserati the first year? Like that's what they want. That's their goal right away.
That's what they think.
I'm like, dude, it doesn't work like that.
Oh, it's cool that you have your own schedule and you can make up your hours. I was like, I wish. I have the worst boss in the world.
Good evening. We're here at XR, and we're here at the XR Podcast, episode number 6. Today episode, we're going to talk about perspective, grit, and hustle. So I'm here with the home team. I'm with Jonathan Ramos. So
Yep.
you're here, right?
Yep. Thank you for having me.
Then we got Brittany. She's been here before.
Yep.
And then we got one and only our guest, Alejandro. Sorry for
Just
Remax.
like the song, like the Lady Gaga song.
Like
I have to say, she made me famous, so I'm very grateful for her.
she did.
And I saw her last year at Wrigley, and I
did?
Yeah, and
Wow.
I would divorce my wife in a second.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
wow. Wait. We'll cut that off. Don't
Because
worry.
that
Forgive him,
we'll
wife.
cut.
That performance was like, wow. You know? But it's a pleasure to be here with you guys. I'm honored to have this awesome conversation. And, you know, especially with so much energy in our business right now, it's an exciting time to be alive for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially right now. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on. I feel like a lot of news, a lot of information out there. And we're all hustling, right?
Absolutely.
We're running around. I think Jonathan this week alone showed my client, like, same client,
Same client.
right? How many times you went?
I
Like
couldn't
Friday,
tell you.
Saturday,
I'm starting to
Sunday?
lose count of how many times I've gone out. But,
That's
it's part of the process, right?
It's part of the process.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's part of the process.
Exactly. I love it, but it's working hard, right? It's working hard, doing your thing. Like you can't just like,
Not at all. And persistence,
Correct.
You got to keep driving,
Right.
Sometimes it's not going to work out the way you want it to, but
exactly.
you just keep hitting it over and over again until it works out in your favor.
Correct.
So-
Correct. Alejandro knows all about it.
Yes, it's definitely something that never goes away, even after years of working and hard work and experience. Once you let your foot off the gas, that's where things start falling apart.
Yeah, it's true. Like I know you, like you were like 20. You were like Jonathan age,
I was a young baby at the time.
young baby.
I
But
really
I knew you were going to be successful.
Yeah, you know, it's a funny story. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, our partner who introduced us to us really kind of shed a lot of light when I first met you. And, you know, I'm very grateful for the opportunities and the people that I've run into in the beginning, because your true foundation in the beginning really sets the road that you're eventually going to be driving in. And almost 10 years later, it's been a cool ride.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. Yeah, now you're like tell us a little bit about you. Like, you know, I know you had a cool ride, so that's good. But right now you're like a broker owner.
Yeah, so it's been an exciting journey the last 2 years. You know, I was offered the opportunity to partner up,
Okay.
run a Remax franchise with my partner Mike.
Nice.
You know him, Mike.
Yeah, Mike's a cool guy.
You know, at that time I was like, you know, like why the hell should not? Why not? You know what I mean? Like, what do I have to lose? You know, I think at that point in my career, I realized that there was a stepping stone to something else.
Yeah.
I didn't know, or I guess I couldn't figure it out just yet because I was still building.
Yeah.
But when an opportunity knocks in front of you, like you got to be dumb not to take it, honestly. And you know, it happened during COVID. You know, as you all know,
That's crazy.
COVID kind of shook the world and you know, changed our perspective. But it really allowed me to really understand a whole different side to a business that we've worked it one way.
Correct.
And since then, we've opened up another office. You know, we're able to recruit some good agents and continue to build. And I think, you know, we're very young in our industry, in our ways, that there's just going to be so many opportunities ahead.
Right. But if you didn't have the grit, right?
Yeah.
Like it would never happen.
Yeah, and that's more than anything, understanding to adapt, right? And that was the thing. Like, I have no idea how to deal with, you know, policy and deal with signing up agents and dealing with political stuff. And, you know, you kind of learn along the way and be persistent, you know, like Jonathan mentioned, in just achieving those goals.
You know, we try to make it easy, right?
Yeah.
Make it all bubbly. I do the video, my reel, like, you know, saying like, hey, it's easy. I'm here having a good time. But it's really not.
No. A lot of people think they can come into the business and they want to do what we do. We make it seem easy. So I guess we're doing our job well if we're portraying it as very easy. And then once they step into what we do is when they realize like, oh, wait, I'm not going to be making this much money a week or a month. And
like, what do people expect? Sorry to interrupt you. What people expect, like the first year, I feel like I talk with a lot of newbies, right? New guys that start and they're like, they think like, hey, am I buying a Maserati the first year? Like that's what they want. That's their goal right away.
That's what they think.
I'm like, dude, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Like, and they have all this pressure.
Yeah.
Too. Like like in your case, right? You built it up little by little.
Yeah, slowly. I planted the seed slowly, and now I'm starting to see the fruits of my labor.
Correct.
Years later. So I'm just now like getting more listings now, but it definitely was it was a slow grow, and I think that's what it takes. Yeah, you hustle. Yeah. And longevity, long term, it pays off as long as you have that understanding.
Correct.
Slowly but surely, you'll get there.
How many deals do you get where they cancel? Like you get the deal all done, right? It's all done. And then all of a sudden they cancel because of inspection or because the guy lost his job. So all those hours you put in, technically, you're not paid for. It's free work, right? Free.
And that's a big thing that the young agents in the industry, they do not realize.
Correct.
You're paying for photos up front. You're you're fronting so much, and they don't realize it cancels now.
Yeah.
What happens now? You got to start over now.
You got to start over.
Yeah.
Right? And you did all that free work, all that money you invested.
Yeah.
So it's like Jonathan too. When I met Jonathan, so how long do we know each other now?
We've known each other probably about 6 or 7 years, I would say.
But this is like XR is your second company or third? Third company.
Yeah,
wow.
third company.
So you jumped around.
A little bit,
Okay. Why? Tell us.
No, definitely. So, so I was in school. I played college soccer. I went to Dominican University, not far.
Okay.
And
we did meet at soccer, by the way.
Yeah. I met him through soccer. So. But so I was at Dominican University studying engineering. Thought I was going to be this super engineer, corporate guy, right?
Yeah.
And one day, decided that's not going to be for me, And I started thinking, what do I want to do? Kind of researched about real estate a little bit, fell in love with investing, and was like, how do I get to that point, right? And so I decided, what's the best way to learn from somebody, kind of be in the mix, be an agent.
Okay. So then you became an agent.
Exactly. I became an agent. My class was with Century 21. And because I was already comfortable with them, that's who I went with first, right out of
right
fresh.
away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
but you thought right away you start and you're going to buy all these properties.
Exactly.
It was going to be easy, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going to sell 50,000 in my first year. No
50,000.
problem. No problem. That's king. That's the bare minimum.
You're going to raise capital. You were watching a lot of YouTube channels.
Exactly. I mean. How a lot of our generation, my generation especially, right? That's how we learn, right? Is YouTube University is a kind of a joke we have going on, right? YouTube University. So, and then reality hits, right? But that's when you find out what you're made of, right?
Yeah.
And you got to put all these things into practice, consistency, discipline. All these things are very important to keep you going, right? So,
but you had to fail.
Exactly.
A couple times, right? Because nothing wrong. I'm not saying
no, not at all.
Special, but you did.
No, absolutely. So you have to fail.
You know what I mean?
And just experience in general. I think experience is the best teacher, right? Okay. So that's the best way you're going to learn. It's just being in the mix. So so then after Century 21, decided to go with a smaller brokerage out in Joliet.
Nice.
It was cool. Learned a lot as well. Still felt like I was not getting the traction that I really wanted. You know what I mean? So it was a little disappointing, of course, a little discouraging. And we had been playing soccer at this point for a couple years. I know you. And I was like, it's time for a change. And so I approached you. I said, hey, can we go out for lunch? Can we just have a conversation? And the rest is history. And now XR.
But I was real with you right away.
Absolutely.
Right? I was real. I told you, like, hey, don't look at my car. Don't look what I have. I'm like, it took time.
Right.
Like I worked at the dollar store. That's my first job. You know what I mean? And I worked 2 jobs for many years.
Right.
You know what I mean? So by the time I got there, like it took hustle, grit, kind of like all of us in here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Brittany working 2 jobs. Yeah. Alejandro here.
Well, I used to drive a truck for a living. So
I remember that, man.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I used to go from Chicago to Toledo overnight.
Wow.
Yeah.
Carry, 100.
You're FedEx?
Yeah, 150,000 pounds of freight. And, a couple rollovers and a couple deers that I've hit, I realized, this is not what I want to do.
But it's funny. This guy driving a truck, he looks like a congressman. Yeah. Look at him. He's awesome.
And back then I was like 150 pounds soaking wet. So I was like, I want to do this. And, you do it, Yeah. But that was something that I didn't want to do. And, you realize like Jonathan was saying, right? Like sometimes the culture and the environment that you're in, you're like, this is great, but this is a stepping stone to something better, right? And I think there's an internal clock that we all get rung up on.
You almost can't explain it.
You almost can't explain it, and you're like, all right, time to move on, right? And that's where opportunities come up and be able to capitalize, right? But very few don't, and that's the issue.
But you got to find your opportunities. Like I always say, people say, "Oh, great, you got lucky." I'm like, I'm not gonna say luck is not part of the equation. It is, but I went to chase my luck. The luck didn't come into my door. I had to get out of the door and go chase my luck.
Exactly.
And then I found it, God bless, I have a blessing meeting you guys throughout time, throughout the years. But they came because I went out there.
Right. That's one of the things that I always resonate very well. And I think, Brittany and Jonathan have it. And of course, I think, Greg, I think you were born with it from the womb, is, there's a national or a natural, I should say, hungry dog mentality that human beings have. And it's a drive that you can't teach.
My dad starved me when I was a kid. That's why I'm super hungry.
You know what I mean? And there's this constant pressure when we have that.
Yeah.
Like, Brittany, I know you had some income that you were counting on, but that didn't stop you from pursuing, from chasing and building. Yeah. And I think that's some of the issues that I think some of us that start businesses, or sometimes buyers and sellers who are afraid to reach out to us for advice, or anyone in general, we have that misunderstanding that something's going to come to my doorstep. And it's going to give me the solution.
Right.
And that shit does not work.
Right.
It doesn't.
They wait for the opportunity to fall in their lap versus the mentality like, no, you have to go and get it. Don't wait for it to come to you.
100%.
Like, let's say an example, you represent a lot of renters, right? And sometimes they don't have like that. No, renters, I mean, like you represent the renters and they become homeowners.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's exactly,
They become homeowners. But some of them, like not all renters, like want to take the extra mile or go the extra mile.
What I learned is even if it's someone coming to me to help them find an apartment to rent, it's a connection and a relationship I'm building. I get to add this person into my pipeline, and I'll keep in touch with them.
Correct.
Send them a mailer or a text or just email like, hey, how's life? How are you doing? With the thought one day they're going to want to buy something.
Yeah, but even him, like I had renters like myself. I had, I have buildings and I have like tenants. I try to tell them like, hey, you're my renter now, but you could buy this building too.
Yeah.
If you do certain stuff, right?
Absolutely.
If you go out there, fix your credit, accumulate money, work hard, work your ass off, save money, like what Jonathan's doing right now.
Absolutely.
Right? I'm proud of you.
Super saver over here.
He had zero before.
Exactly. Right. Start from zero and start from the bottom. Now we're here. From my favorite artist, Drake. So if Drake, if you're watching this, shout out to you.
It's your national anthem.
Shout out to Drake.
Continue.
But no, I love it because now you look into Now you look into buying a building.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. So everybody could do it, but you gotta do kind of like what we did in real estate. I think people could do the same thing with different things, right? Mm-hmm. If you open a bakery or if you want to buy a house, like it really takes that having that grit, never giving up, right? That hustle, So I think that's huge. That people sometimes maybe give up. Maybe people are like on Facebook or on Instagram and seeing everybody else having a great life. And they think like, oh, I can never get to that.
Yeah.
But they can.
I feel like a lot of people are so used to, especially on social media, right? That has built a world of instant gratification.
Correct.
And so they try to rush the process.
Yep.
And once they rush the process, things don't go as planned because you're not building that foundation.
That's right.
And once it doesn't go their way, they give up too easily, right?
They get bent out of shape.
Exactly. Yeah. And they're like, oh, this is not for me. It was not for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do something else, right?
Yeah.
And then they go do something else. Same thing happens. They rush the process and then it doesn't work. And then they go to something else. Instead of just, if you would have stick with that one thing, really lock in and, you'll see results.
Yeah, right? No, absolutely. And then that's why people get like, sometimes they get in depression and,
Well, I think the misconception behind that, to piggyback off of that conversation, is that there's a lot of consumers or even us individuals, family, friends that sometimes may not always have the great upbringing, right? Because we're talking about generations, right? We had baby boomers who really kind of laid the foundation for Gen Xers. Then millennials came along, and we're a little hard-headed, right? And then Gen Zs, who are a whole different beast of their own. But one of the things that I think a lot of people have touched on is like, not everyone can have that great upbringing, a stable home. But to me, and I've seen it's been proven, and Greg has actually talked about it before, is that you don't need to have the perfect, I guess you say, the perfect life or the perfect beginning to everything.
Yeah.
And the problem is that people make an excuse because of it.
Right.
And it's the bullshit cop-out, excuse my language, that people have, because they're like, oh, like all this people are against me and I'm just like, it's me against the world. But like all you're doing is pointing yourself, because there's tons of people, like the typical immigrant story, the story of America, where people have come here with shit and have lived with nothing and just build and build.
Yeah. But that's why we're in USA, right?
Exactly.
Like if you're not going to do it here, where else are you going to do it in the world?
Yeah,
Right.
so it's kind of hard.
For real. Super hard. Like I lived in Europe. I lived in Europe. It's hard there.
Yeah.
I have my cousins there. It's hard. They buy one house. It's for life.
Yeah.
Like I talked to my cousin, they bought a house recently. I'm like, hey, this is good to start. They're like, what? Start? We're going to die there. I'm like, oh, wait, I'm sorry. I felt bad, because I'm used to the mentality here. Like, buy one, you sell, build equity.
Right.
But that's how it is. That's their mindset.
Yeah.
But here we got the opportunity. So guys, I have everybody I meet, anything you're doing, just go for it.
Right.
Who cares? Try.
Yeah.
Right.
So and whatever, whoever you were and however your dad or mom was, I know it's hard, but at the end of the day, snap out of it.
Right.
And
I'm sure all of you guys have had those conversations, right? Like, Brittany, I'm sure you get approached, and Jonathan gets approached with conversations of like, hey, like, how did you manage to do that? How did that work out? How does this work? Right. Like we learn it through our kids.
Yeah.
Right. And the positive part about it is being able to pass that good judgment down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's the number one question I get asked is, where do you find time to do all the things you do? Like, you're a mom,
you do
your
quite a
wife, title company, real estate. Like, what is it? And I'm like, well, I don't sleep much. That's what it is.
Sacrifice.
I don't sleep much. So I come home, take care of my kids. Once they're asleep, I'm back on the
You'll
grind.
sleep when you're dead.
Yeah.
Right?
Back on the grind. So that's what happened. I don't get enough sleep.
Yeah. But you hustle.
Yeah.
Going back to the hustle, right? You hustle because you have goals.
Yeah.
Whatever they are. Maybe you wrote them down, maybe you didn't, but you have them.
Yeah.
And you want to reach them, and you want maybe create a better base for your kids.
Definitely.
You know?
And in this industry, sky's the limit. There is no cap here. You make as much as you want to make. It's up to you how hard you're going to work.
Yeah, I think it's not only in the industry, it's in America. The universe is the limit, and the universe is infinity. We don't even know how big it is.
Exactly.
So that's the limit. Because I know I have a lot of examples of clients that have little bakery shop, and these guys are worth like $10, $20 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they came from nothing, zero, from a bakery shop.
Wow.
So it's possible, but they worked their ass off. They were there, husband and wife, working all the time. The kids were working there. They did what they had to do.
Yeah, it's sacrifice. And that's one thing that, I think we all can agree that not everyone is willing to sacrifice, right? Yeah. Because we're, we want to buy our Jordans and we want to have the fancy car now.
We
but
do.
If you look at, and this is something funny that somebody pointed out to me years ago. If you look at all the people in these wealthy neighborhoods and these wealthy societies, none of these guys are in their 30s. None of these people are young. They're enjoying their wealth and the fruit of their labor in their 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
Correct.
They're not over there in Jordans with a $6,000 square foot house.
No, they're not.
If they are, they're doing something else.
Unless you're a trust fund baby, right? And that's fine. Nothing wrong with them.
Right.
But
they sacrificed and they built and built.
At one point, somebody sacrificed.
They did.
Even if it's a trust fund baby.
Yeah.
At one point, someone in their family sacrificed.
Correct.
So that's what it comes down to.
100%. And that's the vibe that I think, we definitely want to portray out there, right? So whether it's an agent looking to build their business or looking to open up a restaurant or a coffee shop, which are my favorite and your favorite, it's the sacrifice of building, right? And understanding that it takes time.
It does.
Everything good takes time. If that was the case, everyone would be doing it.
Everybody does. Exactly. I say you got to spread the seeds, cultivate, and little by little, the trees will grow. And then you got to water them. And then the fruits will come.
Yes.
But it takes time.
Now, one thing that I admire about having that level of like, okay, I've conquered, I've built, but then giving back, right?
Yeah.
And after so much, like,
that's awesome.
We could all make money, right? Yeah. Like money comes and goes, but like at some point in time, I think Greg, you're kind of already in this realm. Yeah. Brittany and Jonathan.
Oh wait, I want to grow even more.
I know, but. What you're doing now, it's not so much about money, right? And I think all of us have purpose,
right?
But at some point, it'll be about legacy.
Yes.
Exactly. What can you be remembered for instead of what you can be remembered that you bought?
Right. Yeah. Can I actually piggyback off of that?
Yeah.
So something that I've kind of like started thinking more about, and I'm always about learning and expanding and just really being open-minded. And something that resonated with me was, when you're living your life, you should live your life as if you're writing a story, right?
I like it.
And so at the end of your life, how do you want to be remembered? What story do you want to leave for the future generations, right? So when you really think about it that way, any big decisions you're making in life, think about it like, how would that sound in a book, right?
Yeah.
And I think it really helps you kind of see a path.
It's good. It's good. Yeah, I agree.
I love that.
David Goggins said that one time in, I think it was on Joe Rogan. And
I think it was David Goggins fan. Yeah.
And one thing that resonates with me, and I stole this from him. Sorry. He once said, here you are, credit. Please don't sue me. But he once said, he's like, well, in times of difficulty, I ask myself 2 questions, right? What if I actually pull off what I'm trying to do? What if I actually succeed and make it, right? But more importantly, what if I never get the opportunity to do this again? What if this is my only shot to succeed? And he was doing this as the 36th African American to graduate from the Navy, and he was on the point of just like tapping out. And he told himself, "I'm not going to be a loser here. I'm actually going to see if I actually could pull this off, because I may not know if I ever get the opportunity to do it again." Yeah. If we ask ourselves that every single day, I guarantee you half of our bull crap we deal with every day,
it would just go out the window.
It will go away so fast. I know. It's so true.
Absolutely. But it's astonishing, right? And it's more than anything, like some of us feel like we're alone, right? Like sometimes Brittany feels like, oh, I'm stuck. I don't know who to talk to. Jonathan, you're the same way. I'm like, wait, I'll just call Greg.
Yeah.
Right? Or Greg will be like, wait, I'll call Jonathan. Or I'll call Paul. Now I'm blanking on his name.
Who you talking? Frank.
Frank.
Hey, Frank.
You know what I mean? Like we all have just that natural big brother that we could count on, right? Like I know I have a lot of people that, call me and ask me things that, have nothing to do with the business. And that's awesome, because I'm like, yeah, sure, a 10-minute conversation could really save someone, right?
I think half of my clients, we barely talk about businesses. It's all different thing, it's more like support, emotional, making them feel good. Mm-hmm. And people sometimes need that too, like we're more like, there's some people more natural, right, on it, with the grit, with the hustle, with, to understand stuff. And some people need that support.
Right. And that's, but Coachable comes to mind, right? And it was a very interesting story that that I kind of could live off, right? Because when I was 21, I met the love of my life, and it wasn't my wife. It was my father-in-law.
Your father-in-law?
My father-in-law.
You have brought him up. Yeah. He's actually a big real estate investor. And
I adore that man. The day that he passes, I will disappear into the, mountains and think for a couple of days, because that man has taught me a lot about perspective.
Wow.
And mentorship, right? Something that I live by today. And I feel like some of us who are lost, who are looking to get, we all struggle, right? We all have objections, right? Brittany, you've gone through your growing pains and being a mom and having the second kid. And Jonathan, you've gone through different cultures. Yeah. But once you've understand that being coachable is an ability instead of a trait, your mind will propel you to whatever you want to do. It is huge.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Something he taught me that, and he was a 71-year-old man at the time.
God bless him.
He's 81 now.
In his 80s?
Yeah.
Oh, God bless him.
And he's he talks a lot of shit still, but that man has seen so much, and he's been down this road that we all travel. And to me, I was like, oh man, that guy's been down the road that I'm traveling.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I listen to him?
Yeah.
Right.
But you know how it is. It's all in your mind at the end of the day. It really is. It's what you put. You know, I mean, sometimes you put positive thoughts in your mind, and positive things happen. You know, versus if you doubt yourself and you're negative, you know, things, you go in the bad, you know, the wrong way.
It's those excuses, right? Like, you know, Brittany never gave up fight where she was like, oh my God, well, I got to work tomorrow. I got to file and I got to wake up in the morning. This kid needs feeding. She was just like, I'm just going to do it.
You got to keep pushing through nonstop.
Right.
You push through and it pays off at the end.
It's the yin and the yang, right? It's black and white.
Yeah.
Right. There's a problem. There's a solution.
Exactly.
And we kind of tend to muddle, I should say, in the middle of it and then overthink it, right? Right. I'm sure, Jonathan, you've come along with. Yeah. Greg, you're born with a lot of wisdom, so we can't say anything about you. And
I got good DNA.
You got good DNA. And that's one of those things that you're able to portray, right? Because when people talk to you, and you know, whether it's agents that are looking to join the brokerage, whether it's a new client looking to come, you know, they could choose anyone else, but they choose you, they choose Brittany, they choose Jonathan, because there's a sense of like, hey, them guys are very zen. When they're speaking with authority. They're saying the right things. Yeah. And you can't replace that. Not the Ryan Serhants in the world can replace that.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Because we live in Chicago where there's 23,000.
Exactly.
And this is cool fact, right?
Yeah, and no AI is going to replace it either.
No AI.
Not as of today.
No AI. And the power of a personality will always super exceed, right?
Absolutely.
The 90-10 rule, right? We have 23,000 licensed agents in Chicago.
We do.
Why do everyone come to Brittany and Greg and Jonathan?
But how many, like, you know, if you think about all the licensed agents, right? They're like, the average salary is like $37,000.
Yeah.
You know?
It's not a lot of money.
You know, and a lot of people within the first 2 years, 85% are gone.
Yeah.
Like
it's a true statistic.
It's a true statistic.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. You know, I sure as hell didn't think I was gonna make it. You know, my first year, I think I made like $800.
Yeah, exactly.
I told my wife, I was like, oh, this is not looking good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I have a similar experience. You know, my first year, I got lucky. I actually helped my mom purchase her first home. Yeah. So that was awesome. Really, really cool. But my second year, flopped. You know, I'm like right in the same boat as you. But that's where you find out where you're made of, right? That's where that consistency, that is discipline, where you lock in to get past that, right?
But not only that, like where you could wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, I'm consistent. I want to work," but if you just say it and not do nothing, right?
No, I meant like your actions have to be consistent.
That's you got to have systems,
absolutely.
Right? You got to have systems.
A routine,
you have to learn,
right? Yep, absolutely.
You keep learning. You keep, taking classes. You educate yourself. Like, you gotta know. Like, you gotta go out there.
Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. And that's something that I realized, and people ask me, I'm sure they ask you guys, hey, you know, like, oh, it's cool that you have your own schedule and you can make up your hours. I was like, fuck, I wish. I have the worst boss in the world in myself. Right. I don't have days off. I can't, you know, I'm working till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, 1 o'clock in the morning most days. You know, I got an asshole of a boss.
But from day one when I met you, you had that, you know, you got that energy, that attitude, being disciplined.
Gotta have passion for it.
Passion,
Passion is the biggest driver of anything. And that's why you guys have, you know, something that I admire about you guys is that you have that natural ability to understand, like, it's 10 o'clock, no big deal. I got 2 reports to do.
You got to keep going.
I got to keep going. Yeah. You know, coffee in the veins, let's go.
That's right.
It's no problem. Exactly. Right, Jonathan? You're going to...
Yeah. Even though I don't drink coffee, so
I know. How do you do it?
I don't know how you do it.
All natural, just sheer willpower. You just got to stay up.
That's
got to
only
get done, right? It's got to get done.
That's only going to run so long.
Absolutely, right? So
you never drink coffee?
Don't drink coffee.
Ever?
Wow.
Yeah, he wakes up early in the morning.
Yep.
He done 7 a.m. showings for me.
7 a.m. showings.
Just to give you a perspective, like he lives, you're in Aurora, right?
Yeah.
In Aurora, and he drove one time from, I think you got there at 8 a.m. He drove all the way from Aurora to like Wisconsin borders.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, from Wisconsin borders to, where were you, Evergreen?
Yeah, I think like Evergreen Park.
Evergreen
All the way
Park?
south.
Yes, literally like all within like that morning.
Wow.
Like, like some of us like just wake up and have coffee, and
Yeah.
this guy already
I
had
was
the whole
already
day.
been driving 150 miles, right?
But I like
Wow.
that's what's gonna
That's
Absolutely.
dedication.
Yeah.
And it's fun, when you're doing that. At the end of the day, like you have to enjoy it, right? Like it's fun.
At the end of the day, you got to put passion, like
Passion,
Alejandro
right?
was
No,
saying, it's passion.
It's
right?
passion.
Like, because even when I was working at the dollar store, it's not like, I put passion in my job. I'm like, I'm gonna own it.
Right.
And I loved it. And I worked hard, and people all knew me, and they thought I was even the boss.
Right.
They thought I owned the shop because I, had that authority.
It bleeded off of
Exactly.
you.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And I'm sure you guys have run into that
gotta do that.
experience, right? They've confused you for being the owner of that joint for so many years.
That's it. I'm running it.
Because you just do it with such ease, right?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Going back to your conversation.
Everybody loved Brittany.
Of course.
You guys.
There's the personality, there's obviously the education, but
Definitely.
you attack things and people realize, I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't I work? I love Brittany. I want to work with her. I want to work with Greg, right? There's nothing that phases those people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It didn't come easy.
No, it's not. It's something we'll continue to build. I think it was as we grow in ourselves, as we get into our 40s and 50s, right? But we'll leave that behind and leave the examples, right? One of the most awesomest things about this industry, guys, is just the people that you meet,
Yeah.
right? And
Absolutely.
you like I said,
1000%.
you met a guy who has a bakery and is a millionaire, right? And built this business off of nothing.
Absolutely.
And you meet some of the most interesting people, and you meet some of the most, not interesting people that you wish you could forget.
It happens.
But it's all within the realm of learning, right? I mean, money comes and goes. But one of the things that I know you guys can agree is that the people that you meet and the stories and the wisdom that they pass along,
It's just,
you can't write that in a book.
It's invaluable.
It's priceless.
It is.
yeah.
And I'm able to be like, oh, cool, this is an interesting story. Let me sit here and drink more coffee with you. Now I know something that I can avoid in the future, or maybe pass it along to somebody who's probably going through it.
But
right?
you have that attitude of learning, right?
Right.
Like you were interested.
Right.
Like, and that's the main thing. Like my advice for anybody out there, whatever you're at, whatever you're doing, learn, be willing to talk with people, be interested in people. There's some people, sometimes they'll go out, they'll meet people, like even if you work at McDonald's. When I worked at a dollar store, I was interested of the person. I want to learn what they're doing. And because of that, then I found a job in banking 2 months after. And because in banking, I was still interested, then I got my passion in real estate.
Right.
Because I took interest in my job.
One thing led to another.
Yes, one thing led to another.
Right.
So that's why you got to keep going. Embrace fully what you're doing.
But more than anything, like you realize those opportunities, right? Jonathan realized those opportunities. And I think consumers can realize that. And if you can't realize that, talk to somebody who's seen that, right? That's the biggest advice. If you're going through something, you're struggling with something, it's only a moment in time.
Yeah, right.
Reach out to the people who've been there, who've done that, who are willing to share. Trust me, there's a lot of people who are willing to share. Don't believe social media and the negativity of the TV and all that crap. That's for cowards and losers.
Yeah, I agree.
See or no, like we say in Espanol. But that's I think that's the vibe that we want to pass down. And my 9-year-old boy, I talk to him all the time about that, and I hope I'm alive at some point in time to see him pass that down to his children.
Yeah, we have though it's going to be hard for us because we're providing them everything, right?
Right.
You're giving everything to your kids. You're giving everything. Like I didn't have half of what my daughters have, maybe not even a quarter. And so it's important. I hope they, we'll try our best.
Yeah.
But hopefully, we'll provide them a base, but hopefully they have the same values.
Well, I have epic battles with my wife about that because I don't give my kid crap. He gets half the crap that he should be getting.
That's not a bad
thing. No.
Specifically because I didn't want that. I didn't want to be that person and be like, oh, I'm going to give him everything that I've never had. because he keeps asking me for a PS5 when he was 5.
Exactly.
He's 9 now. I tell him to go skip rocks. Let's go play baseball.
Exactly.
And
you
then
got your first probably whatever Nintendo or something when you were 30.
No, I never had it actually.
You never had it?
I grew up in Little Village, and it was a whole different world in the 90s.
Shout out to Little Village.
Yeah, so it was a whole different world. And
in our house, same thing with my son. I also have a 9-year-old. We teach. He has to earn everything. Whatever he asks for, put on the list. He has his little chore list, and you work towards it. So
you make him write stuff down?
Yeah, on the refrigerator we have
really
a chart, and he has to check off all right, I did this week, and then we look how he did throughout the week. All right, and then let's see what bucket did we land in this week, just because awesome. we didn't want to create the entitlement.
Entitlement.
We don't want to create that for him, so we're big on he has to earn everything. Work hard for everything, just instilling that. It's kind of a work ethic. You don't get your paycheck for doing nothing. So same thing at home. You want these new shoes, or he's real big on baseball too now. His heart's all baseball.
Yeah.
He's always asking for some new things, and baseball stuff's expensive.
It is, yeah.
I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it, but we're showing him you gotta earn it.
Right. You got to mow the lawn twice a week.
Not there yet, but that's coming.
It's like a military house at the Brittany house.
I know, right?
Yeah, he'll agree. He always says, I'm the only one who has chores. None of my friends have chores. No one. And we'll talk with the parents, and they're like, no, they have chores here. But my son swears he's the only one.
Does he have a phone?
No phone.
I bet a lot of people in his class have phones.
Yeah, they do. He's been asking for a phone.
A lot of kids, I'm telling you. I know.
He's been asking. Do your kids have?
I see what my daughter. No, my 2 little ones don't.
I think your little ones are the same age as our boys.
Yeah, my big one's gonna be 14, so she has it, but she cannot take it at school.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to have it for school, and we monitor it as much as possible.
Yeah.
But at one point, I wanted her to be savvy too with technology, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
So that was one thing, but I'm not giving her she could do whatever she wants with it.
Right.
Yeah, no TikTok accounts at 14.
No TikTok. No TikTok.
Yeah, please no.
Yeah, well, Jonathan, see, we're going down this road here.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you're ready.
So when I'm ready.
We got the manual.
Take notes. Yes,
take notes.
Absolutely.
Ready for
we might have to reconnect, do a little reunion with this group when it's the time, and I'm going to ask you guys some of these questions again.
If you're not using TikTok for business, I'm taking it off. For you too,
Fair enough.
Part of XR, you can't use it anymore.
It's standard.
I know, right?
Minimum.
All right,
Standard.
Jonathan.
Yeah.
No, I love that. No, you should use TikTok for business.
No, absolutely.
Unless they banned it, because I know they're talking about banning it, right?
Nah, but I mean,
we'll see what
they're
happens.
always trying to do something, right? But
we're always looking for innovative ways. So if it gets banned, we move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But it's funny, actually talking about TikTok, I think in China they monitor more over there, and the kids cannot. There's some stuff that kids cannot access there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it even turns off at a certain time of the day.
Yeah, well, the algorithm is different. You know that?
Completely different.
So over there, they don't push like the goofy stuff that they push in America. They push
kind of
More
interesting.
educational.
Yeah, educational, DIY, kind of, you know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which kind of tells you what are we doing?
What are they doing?
right, they got to be planning something.
Exactly,
Right?
exactly. But here's the thing: they are running low on human beings over there. So we're good.
Okay.
We're good over here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're gonna be okay.
yeah, we're good over here.
We'll be
so
okay. We're fighters at the end.
we're fighters at the end of the
So.
day. But piggybacking off of technology, I think it's great that we understand the power of social media.
Right.
But the power of social media is only one specific tool. Learning how to run your business, build a business, build a network, anything, whether it's completely different, but learning how to do it organically, like the old days. Think about how things ran in the 40s, 50s, 60s.
It was all organic.
That's the best way to do
There's
it.
no buying leads or buying, right?
No, you're like the sorcerer of that.
I'm like, mine is all organic.
It was
My whole
all
staff
organic.
grew organic. Everything's organic.
Didn't you say the other day you were walking down the street and you're like, oh, hey, there's the famous guy from the TV.
Yeah.
It is true that you're recognizable. You know, Brittany, like I said, you're recognizable. Jonathan, you're building that platform.
We're trying. We're trying to be out there, right? You know, trying to use our tools that we have, right? I think that's the way of, learning, right? We're learning every day, adapting different ways, and we're like, hey, you got to put it You got to put yourself out there. But sometimes that could bring people in the door on your phone to ring, but you still got to do the job.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
It doesn't mean that your phone rings and you don't do the job. You don't do that showing, or you know what I mean, right, Jonathan?
Absolutely.
That's why Jonathan went 4 days in a row doing a showing.
Exactly.
For the same client, because she called, she noticed me literally on social, where all the stuff I do, but we had to say like, hey, we walk the talk.
Right.
Yeah.
You know. So that's what it comes down to.
You're coming here, you're bringing value, you're educating the consumer,
Right?
And then really doing the right thing, right? Because in a world where there's so many people that can do this service, I think consumers understand not everyone could capitalize off of it,
right?
And until they get burned, they're like, "Ah, shit, I should have stuck with Greg." Damn. Right. But you live and learn at those times, right?
Or Alejandro, whoever they use, or me or you. That's
hey, there's a lot of great ones out there for consumers. The pie is big, right?
Yeah, no, there's so much money for everybody. I've been telling you that forever.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, not even just in real estate. It's in the world. Like, there's so much money. There's no reason everybody can't be, somewhat well.
But even our industry, going back to our industry, unfortunately, there's a lot of agents that talk bad about each other.
Yeah.
We go to a list, it happens.
Yeah.
I don't do that. We don't do that. You know what I mean?
Integrity is huge.
Yeah,
but it's scarce, right?
Yeah, you have to be real. And at the end of the day, people will associate with different people, right? Yeah. Some people will like me because how I am. Some people will like Brittany. Some people like you.
Right.
And that's it. You attract your tribe.
Your own tribe, yeah.
That's it. Nothing wrong with that.
But more than anything, like not being afraid to tell somebody else, like, hey, like you probably shouldn't do that. Yeah. This is how you're coming off, right? Like I think we have to be very real with each other, but understand not to take it as a confrontational way. But I think sensitivity has really set in this world the last couple of years.
A little bit.
We had to be a little bit careful.
Yep.
But I think there's hope for people to understand, like, we're here to help each other out.
Yeah.
Because the world doesn't operate with one person, right? Yeah. Like we all need that help.
Yeah. You got to show you have the best interest.
Exactly.
You have their best interest.
Exactly.
That's what it comes down to.
I wish I had one of those magic wands where we were like, give everyone common sense. Please don't fight with each other. No.
Exactly. But even like our agents, like sometimes they do, I feel like, and nothing wrong. I love all the agents, but they do like fear tactic. They'll tell the client, you're going to lose earnest money. You got to buy as is. No, I'm like, okay, let me figure out. I had one today. They cancel, and I have to figure out how to get their earnest money back. And that's it. So I'm fighting behind the scene with their lender, with that person to make sure I get it done and they get out of the transaction with no issues.
No issues, right?
You know what I mean? I wouldn't just tell them like, oh, I'm thinking about my commission and you're stuck with this deal. No, I would never do that.
Right.
If you were thinking about your commission, you wouldn't be here for the time,
no way.
Right? And I think that's something that few people understand.
Dude, I don't even know how much my volume. People know. My competition knows my volume. I'm like, what? I don't even know how much. You don't know, Greg, how much you closed for this until December? I'm like, I have no idea. I just know the transaction.
They're waiting for you to sync. That's why.
Yeah, I know, but it's okay. Yeah. I'm not syncing anything.
They're over here with binoculars,
right? Instead of them going to work, they're over here watching you work.
Right. He looks vulnerable. Let's go get him.
I know, right?
It's all
They're
good.
fishing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that's them, and that's why they make so many other opportunities, and why you will be successful if you leave all that noise out.
Yeah.
Correct. And I think that counts for everybody too, right? Anybody there in any industry, from mortgage,
any industry.
You're doing a pizza delivery right now, or you're working in bank, anybody could get there. Even if you don't speak that good English, because look at me, I have an accent and my grammar's not that good, and God bless,
What are you talking about? You speak well. Get out of here.
Yeah, I learned over the years.
Get out of here. You're fine.
But I'm saying, like, everybody has that opportunity.
Right. Well, there's people on social media making like $4 million.
That's right.
Reposting stuff on YouTube. Like, only in America can you do that, right?
Yeah, I know.
Right?
That's it.
You see,
nothing, just reposting it.
I know.
So if you're dwelling and you're, beating yourself down, you shouldn't. Yeah. Trust me.
Yeah.
Now, you could always have it worse. It always is worse.
It could be always worse.
Yeah.
But then again, going back to social media, everybody's focused on social media and making the money on social media. But let's also remember about real work, meeting people, doing real work on the street. Because social media, you never know. Today is here, tomorrow is not.
Mm-hmm. It continues to evolve.
It's ever changing.
What about something? Yeah. And what about that person doesn't make $4 million anymore?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he makes zero and he spent all his money.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't know how to interact with a normal person.
Yeah.
Today.
Nothing replaces hard work. Yeah. And it could be 100 years in the future. Yeah. Hard work will still prevail, right?
So Yeah, that's why my kids, you got to be kind and nice. Even my kids, we go to McDonald's, you better say good morning, good afternoon, how are you, how's your day?
That's awesome.
Right. Not just go on the scream. No, you got to go to the person. Right. Even if you're on the scream, you better salute.
Yeah.
And say thank you. I feel
absolutely.
Like there's a lot of people that don't say thank you.
Dude, we go to the plane.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, don't say it. Like we go to, we go to Italy a lot. I like Italy. So my kids come with me. When we go there, I make everybody, them to say hi, good morning, good afternoon, everybody, the staff that work there. They're so surprised. They're like, wow, your kids are so they're so polite. I'm like, no, this is simple hello and goodbye.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you would be surprised. Everybody has their head down and they go straight. I'm like, head down. Acknowledge it's a human being.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Have a sign of respect.
You know what I mean? That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah. And it comes from us, right? Yeah. I'm sure Brittany in the military household that she has, them kids are
they're
shaking hands and,
No, they're like saluting me like, Mr. Greg.
No, it's not that bad.
Sir. Can I get you a cup of coffee, right?
Can I get a coffee?
It's not that bad. I promise.
With cream, Mr. Brian. Little Brian.
I think I want to go spend the weekend at Bree's house so I can build some discipline.
I'll teach you guys a little something.
It could be a good side business, right?
Yeah, we're raising a man.
There you go.
To be a man.
Absolutely.
That's good. I got 3 daughters, so
I got a boys.
Make sure you raise a good
boys' house.
Both of you raise good boys, all right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll interview them. We'll see how they are. They got to pass.
Interview you
They
guys.
got to pass the test. No, my daughter's gonna be good. And I got to pay the wedding too. So
no, that's good. I gotta take my hat off of you because, like I said, there's that's hard being a mom, and I tell my wife, it's like I can't do what you do.
It's tough.
Yeah, it's a lot, but I couldn't do it by myself. I have a great support at home with my husband, our families. We're just such a good team.
That's great.
I would not be able to get where I am today. I'm not top producer yet. I'm working on it, but I'm getting there. My goal every year is to do a little more, but I couldn't do it by myself. I couldn't be mom, wife, realtor, closer.
Yeah. You wear so many different hats, but then when to take one off, when to take it off.
Yeah.
Finding balance, right? Like, I'm sure you didn't know that year one, right? But then you eventually figured out, okay, well, there's 7 days a week, there's systems, there's efficiency, right? I'm going to start building this. Yeah. And you'll realize you could do a lot in 24 hours.
And I learned too with COVID, it's hard to make contact with people, but communication is key.
Yeah.
And I think the COVID years kind of humbled people. Like, you can work and have your kids in the background, and it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm very grateful that has come along. Like my son, he was coming to closings, doing stuff with me in the industry. And
that's pretty cool.
Because of COVID, so that kind of humbled people. Like, hey, they're humans. Like we got to take along our kids sometimes, and it's not the end of the world. It's okay if they come along.
It's the key to marriage, the key to friendship, it's the key to great business.
Yeah, yes. Key to relationships.
That's true. So true.
I've been together for 17 years, and
wow, God bless.
Yeah, communication has been the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Even though I say it was my good looks and my charm, that obviously has failed.
So Jonathan, what was about your story this week?
Yeah. So doing a showing, right?
Okay. One of my clients?
Yeah, one of your clients. Right. Seemed like a normal showing, right? Just pull up to the house, get inside, open the lockbox. And as I'm inside the property, I hear footsteps upstairs. I'm like, oh, maybe the seller didn't know or somebody, right?
Yeah.
So I start going upstairs. And as I'm halfway up the stairs, I hear one of the bedroom doors shut. And I'm just like,
just
okay.
Shut.
Yeah, just shut, right? Wow. Okay. So I walk up to the door, knock on it. It's like, hey, it's the realtor. We're doing a showing. Just want to give you a heads up. Yeah. And no answer, silent.
Nothing.
And I'm just like, okay, let me knock a little harder this time, maybe, right? So I knock, say the same thing, no answer. But it's during the daytime, and so you got during the daytime, so you got the door, under the door, you can see the light. After the third time I knocked, you could see somebody stepped up to the door. You could see the shadow.
It was somebody? A shadow.
Yeah, it has to be. It was a shadow. You could tell somebody staying right at the door.
I don't know, man. I think that's Casper the ghost over there.
No, it can't.
But guys, what it comes down to, we sell houses even with a ghost. So don't worry. And that's pretty much a wrap for episode 6 of XR Podcast.
Yeah.
Ciao.